I want to first, before we even start, I'm going to do this show as a tribute to Michael Fred Hudson. We had his wife had a celebration of life yesterday. It was at Nealon's funeral home, and there were a lot of people that showed up, and I was really, I think, impressed about how many did show up. A friend who I hadn't seen in a while, he had known Mike because he was working at the sub-base as well. Elsie showed up, which was terrific. People from the old Lot organization showed up. So it was really very nice. So Michael, this is to you. We will talk like we always talk with politics, local and abroad. I know that there are some people who will watch the show as long as we talk local politics, but if we go national, she won't watch it all because, well, she's a Democrat, and that's okay. Like we've always...
but you know, the fact that there's Democrats out there that won't watch the show or come on the show, they're just hurting themselves. I mean, if you're trying to make a case for somebody that you think is doing a wonderful job, you should be, I don't want to say bragging, but you should be pushing that person. You should be trying to get people to listen to you.
Understand
what's
why
going on.
What we're doing. And, you don't have to agree with us.
But
we never ask that. We're asking, keep an open mind for maybe something different. I can't understand, I really cannot understand how anybody in this country today can be happy with the way the country is going.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's, a lot of Democrats out there that voted for him. I know there's got to be a lot of them that have remorse, that realize now they made a mistake. They had no clue to what was going to happen, and they believed the lies about being promised all kinds of things, college kids for one. But when this is all said and done, look what's happened in 2 years. Now put another 2 years on top of that. 4 years. What's it going to be like in 4 years unless something drastically changes? Do you want to walk around saying, especially if you vote for him again or you vote Democrat again, you want to walk around saying, well, I always voted Democrats, and have people look at you like, didn't you see what was going on? How could you do that?
What I found out about...
And they're going to get hurt in the long run, too.
Well, look at a couple of things, which I was just telling the previous gentleman, that a lot of these Democrats, and the older ones, because we're older, were Kennedy Democrats.
Maybe you're older.
I know you're older than I am.
Oh, no.
But they were Kennedy Democrats. And there is a difference between a Kennedy Democrat and a Democrat today that is so progressive and so far left that they want to ruin this country. And they all say, well, this is democracy. They have no idea what they're talking about.
No, a lot of them don't.
No. And that's what really would bother me. God bless you. So, and what also bothers me, I was going to go into local. We'll go into local on the other side then. We'll stay with this. But what bothers me, because on Election Day, and it's called Election Day for a reason, but on Election Day, we have to vote. There's going to be a question on there, do we want early voting? And I'm going to say no.
No, I don't think we should have it.
And my reasons are, if this is an absentee ballot because you cannot get out of the house due to illness or whatever, okay, I understand that. But just for the fact of voting, because it's early, you can vote a month ahead of time or something, no. Because look what happened in 2020. And this was suppressed purposely with Hunter Biden and all the crap that I mean, he's as corrupt as the day is long, and so is his family. So don't keep telling me that the corruption of Trump when you've got just as much corruption with Biden, okay? But how many people have said, if I knew ahead of time what was going on with Hunter Biden, I wouldn't have voted for him, for Biden. And my question to you would be, why did you vote early?
Pure laziness. See,
It's lazy, or is it just
what else can it be?
ignorance?
It's like I was watching the news tonight, and it was Fox News. It was Fox News, okay? You know why I watch Fox News? Because I change it to the other stations, and when they're talking about the same story that Fox News is talking about, you can see how idiotic they are. So Fox News may not be 100% right all the time, but at least I hear them say
They're
at
honest.
times when they're wrong, they will apologize.
That's why they're honest
Okay,
and
now,
balanced.
when I was watching that, they were talking about the debate between Oz and Fetterman. I don't know, did you catch any of that or hear
No,
about
I
any of
just-
that?
no.
Okay. Fetterman has had a stroke
Right.
in the past.
5 months ago.
He's still not there.
Right.
But they didn't tell anybody about this till recently. All right, they didn't tell anybody he had a stroke or that he had conditions because of the stroke. He can't communicate unless he has something electronic in front of him helping him. And they're early voting
They've had 600,000 people so far early voting.
because they have 60 days to do early voting. So the scheme is, and I don't care what you call it, it was planned this way. You had people voting for 60 days before they found out anything about this guy.
And there is,
So how is that a plus for the country?
well, those people, and there are people already saying, I didn't know about this. I would like to take my vote back, but you can't. So that's why I say it's called voting day for a reason. Do not vote early.
Like you said earlier, if it's a situation to where you can't physically get out and vote, then it's understandable.
But did you know that 1 million people have already voted in Georgia? And who's the woman that keeps Stacey Abrams?
Yeah.
She really is a moron.
Oh, yeah.
And she's saying, oh, well, voter suppression, the Jim Crow 2 laws. Lady, you're an idiot. Just like Jean-Pierre is an idiot. She spews
I
all
don't
these
get
lies
her.
that I can't stand her. Just like
This is
she is a moron.
This is the way she does her things. Now she's supposed to know this stuff, right? So and the president said that the other day when he was eating his ice cream cone that it wasn't his particular flavor, but everything is good.
She's a moron.
Oh, they are all morons.
Good evening, you're on.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I wanted to talk about Fetterman. It has, to me, I know about his stroke and all that, but people should really think about what does he stand for. What are his issues? We shouldn't be voting on personalities or someone's health. I mean, it's an important part. But what does he stand for? He's very extreme, full-term abortions, the whole bit. And I think they should concentrate on that. And I think the Republicans need to concentrate on that.
You're
Most
absolutely
of the
right.
Republicans are not against abortion. They just want a time limit on it.
I
So
agree
that's
with you,
what-
and he has flip-flop on a lot of the issues just
on the
so
fracking.
he can get votes.
Yeah, fracking is one.
And
Yeah.
thank God they brought that up, that he was against fracking in 2018. Now he says he's for fracking. I don't think the elevator goes to the top floor. I really don't. And
Well, I don't think it does either, but still, if people had a brain in their head, they'd be voting on issues, whether they be Republicans or Democrats. You just need to look, are these issues something I believe in, or what their stands? Then
No.
that's my candidate.
Now,
People
Carla,
don't
let me
seem to do
ask
that.
you this.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong, before someone can become president, don't they have to go through kind of a rigorous physical?
no.
Are you sure?
Who knows? I mean, I would think they do get physical, yeah.
I mean, when you got a man that's going to run again, that's going to be 80. Now, there's some really sharp 80-year-olds out there. But when you see that it doesn't look quite right,
Voter,
you
do
can't let anybody that has certain conditions be a
what happens to
congressman
the
or a senator or anything, because it's affecting so many people. But what's
I don't
going
know.
on? What's going on with?
It'd be
Go ahead.
What's going on? Go ahead.
No, when it's somebody that's
caller.
having a hard time communicating, sorry, dude, but
Yeah, no.
maybe when you get better, you should run
We
again.
shouldn't have to adapt
Right.
or add equipment
No.
just
No,
because
for
for
that
that person.
reason,
This is
definitely.
not that kind of a situation. Do you
Yeah,
be-
no, for that reason, definitely. But also, people should look and say, "Oh, I
She's
feel sorry
right.
for him because of that. He's a nice guy. I'll vote for him. Look at what he stands for." You
Right.
know?
Well, and,
Caller, let
and
me
I don't
ask
think
you,
people do that.
caller, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. Do you think we should have early voting?
I actually voted. I did vote early voting. I think we need to put a limit on it. It shouldn't be for 2 months or a month. I don't know how long they have it for. Maybe
60
for
days
a
in
week.
Pennsylvania.
Huh?
60 days
Who's
in
going to
Pennsylvania.
decide that? How long it's going to be?
The states.
The state? Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think maybe 5 days. People bring up some good points that I talked to. In general, I'm not. I think you should just. I voted absentee this year because I had a knee replacement, but I've already voted. But I think hopefully Connecticut looks pretty good. It looks like we have a couple of congressional seats that we may make.
Well, let me
All right, I'll let
ask
you guys go.
Let me ask you another question then, and make it a little different. I don't care who you voted for, okay? If you found out the person you voted for, there was a scandal involved, say it happens next week or whatever,
After you
or
voted.
Walker, you're
happened
talking-
after
you're
you
talking-
voted, would you feel sorry that you voted so early?
I guess I would, but no, I don't think I would because I don't really believe half these scandals. I think they bring them up. They bring people out of out of someplace, and start all this trouble, like for Herschel Walker in Georgia. And I think there's scandals for everybody. You could say there's a scandal for anybody. There's something they can bring out. They did it to Canada, what's his name, Supreme Court, and look what he went through. I mean, maybe like with Herschel Walker, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Really, ultimately, who cares? I
Right.
think he's a good person. He needs to be elected.
Do you live in New London?
No.
Okay. Thank you for your call. And
Yeah, could you,
please keep
before-
watching? We
Before you
appreciate
go,
it.
would you
Yeah.
feel okay telling us what town you're from?
No answer.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good evening, you're on. Hello? Did we lose him? Drew?
How do you know it's a him?
Her? Jim?
They. They is the proper way of pronouncing.
We may have lost. Caller,
Please call back.
call back, please. All right, so getting back to this early voting, and in Georgia, over 1 million votes already.
Is she winning?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. They can't count these votes. I think
They probably
I
already
think
did.
they're neck and neck. It's within the margin of error. I don't necessarily believe in polls because we had, how many polls have we had that 4 years ago, Stefanowski won at 11 o'clock at night, and because of Bridgeport, he lost. And they were saying, and you hear all the time that, Americans aren't stupid.
Well,
I know what?
they're showing the world
There's
that,
a lot of them who are
we got
really
'em.
stupid. Good evening, you're on.
I'm not the caller that you lost.
Yes.
But I just want to let you know that I can't believe you didn't know who that last caller was that had knee surgery from Niantic. You should
Well,
have
you
kept
don't-
her on
you
the
don't-
phone a lot longer.
You don't
I'm
need to
glad,
tell us.
You know what, Cheryl? I'm glad she called. I didn't recognize her voice.
Oh, my God. As soon as she started talking, I did.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad.
All right. Well, maybe she'll call back. Maybe she'll call back because you and her.
You know what? When I see her tomorrow, I'll have to say something. I'm glad
yeah,
she's
but
watching. I didn't know.
Hopefully she'll call back because you guys go good together. And I'll call you back later because I want to talk about New London stuff.
Yes,
So
I've
I'll
got
keep listening.
a
Bye.
couple things. All right, take care, Cheryl. I know. I can't believe I didn't. Maybe it's.
I don't know her.
Well, I do, but maybe it's the studio or the way the voice comes over, so anything like that. But okay, so back to Georgia now. Well, let's continue with Pennsylvania. I want to put my thoughts in with this. Yes, I do think a big part of our country is stupid because a lot of people will vote without even knowing the issues. And if people would just pay attention to what's going on, I think you could easily make up your mind that gas when Biden took office was $2.30 or something like that, and it's $3.55 or somewhere around that in Connecticut. But you also have to remember, 25 cents of our is state tax, which was been taken away and supposed to come back, I think, in December. So inflation is way up, and Biden is saying, "Oh, everything is going good with the economy." Really? Obviously, I don't think Biden has bought a gallon of gas in 50 years. I don't think he's gone into a supermarket to buy anything in 50 years. The man hasn't done anything in 50 years, really. So he can't actually see what's going on, because if he really did, he couldn't be this stupid. But in Pennsylvania, he was in, I think, Pittsburgh today. Well, why is Pittsburgh so big on Fetterman? And I realized it. Pittsburgh is a city, so they probably have more low-income people there.
Exactly.
Like Philadelphia, which is a god-awful mess. But it's the rural areas that are against them. The people in Pittsburgh, which is West Pennsylvania, they should be for fracking. A lot of them must have lost jobs or whatever. The economy is affected mostly in Western Pennsylvania because of the oil industry. And they're coming out for him? I don't know.
You got to realize that there's a lot of Democratic politicians right now out there running that don't want anything to do with Biden, especially in the big cities, especially when they have a lot of problems. Because he comes in and he talks crap. Sometimes you don't even know what he's talking about.
But they're still going to vote that way.
Well, probably.
Do you want affordable groceries in the store? Do you want affordable gas? Do you want your borders closed? Do you want the problems going away in Ukraine and Russia and China? Well, I will admit that Trump is not a good guy lots of times. He is a liar, just like all politicians. He is arrogant, egotistical, but he wants something that Biden doesn't want. He's for America, and Biden is not for America. He has taken money from Ukraine, China,
Biden
Russia.
doesn't even know he lives in America.
Well, I really think that there could be some problems if the Republicans take over the House and the Senate, or even if it's just the House. They're going to do to him what the Democrats did to Trump. And I think he will be impeached.
Who will? Biden?
But if the Republicans don't take the Senate, it'll stop there. He'll stay in office. And you have to tell yourself, you certainly don't want Kamala Harris as president.
You are not going to see.
She is worse.
I've seen her on the news today. I'll tell you about that. But you're not going to see Biden get
impeached.
You
don't think
you
so?
You may see Biden end up in a home, but he won't be impeached. He'll have to give it up because he can no longer do it. And you don't want Harris to take his place.
Right.
You don't want Pelosi to take his place.
Is Pelosi running? I heard she's not even running.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff coming down on her and her husband, a lot of behind-the-scene deals that whoever allowed the politicians to be able to jump on deals, because at one time they couldn't do that. Is there a caller?
No.
Okay, I wanted to jump back to Georgia for a minute. You said
over
a million people have already voted.
Right.
Okay. If that was a million people for whatever her name is, she already won. Because there is only 1,017,732 people that vote in Georgia. So if all those million voters are somehow Democrats, which I don't think they are.
No.
But if they were, you might as well just give that up.
Right.
So this is a number, all you folks out there that are watching tonight. Write this number down: 1,013,732. That's how many voters are in Georgia. So when they come out with a final thing like, oh well, we had over 2 million votes for this, or you'll be able to check back and say, well, wait a minute, that's kind of impossible. You don't have that many voters.
I know, but you know what? Again, what bothers me about voting is that the people in college, they're not residents. And let's do Connecticut. They're not residents of Connecticut. They go to college. They're not a resident, and they will say, I want to vote in Connecticut. I live at the college, and they'll be signed up. But then they'll also vote in their home state. So they're voting twice.
And they're voting, yeah, exactly. I mean, now
They're
that we went through that one time with Finenzio when he was the first mayor, as most of you should remember. He went after the college vote, and he got a lot of them to come in. I think a lot of them on like day of the voting. They came in the morning and they registered to vote, vote Democrat. And some people say that's how he won. Now you have them living downtown because they took over a huge section of State Street.
Who?
College students. They went in there, they
Oh,
fixed
right.
the place up. So now
Okay,
they're
okay.
living there. So what are they putting down for an address with the mail? Where's the mail? Is the mail going to the college first and then they pick it up there?
No, probably the mail is going
Are
to
they
them.
are they driving in New London? That was the big thing. If they drive here, when you move here and you have a car with a different license plate on it, you have, I don't know, 30, 60 days or something to
No.
get that changed.
No.
So are they registering their cars
I had
in
a
New
car.
London?
I had a car in college. Never was registered in Connecticut.
Yeah, but what college?
Quinnipiac
Oh. Okay.
in Hamden. Car was it
Okay.
was my parents' car.
Did you vote?
Yeah, I know. I never voted in Connecticut.
But see, this is what's going. There's so much illegal stuff going on, and you could say maybe on both sides, okay? And I believe there's a lot
I
of
believe it's
Republicans
on both sides.
that are a bunch of slime balls too. But you got to figure out who's the bigger slime ball, and then you got to look at what they're promising. I get so sick of hearing people say, "Well, Biden just signed it into law." If I remember right, Congress has to accept that before it goes into law. And when they say Biden given 300 and something thousand trillion dollars to someplace, Congress is the purse. So the main place that the Republicans need to take over is Congress. So they can stop this fool.
Congress is the House and the Senate.
I know. Okay, so there's Congress.
No, there's the House, the Senate, and then there's the House, which make up Congress.
I know there's people from the House and the Senate that make up Congress.
Which is the one that controls the purse? I think it's the House,
No, is it?
the House of Representatives.
I thought it was the Congress.
No.
See, to
you're-
me, it makes. I know what you're saying, but do you have 3 department heads? Is it like the Senate
The Senate
is a group here,
The majority
the
leader.
House
yeah,
is a group here.
right.
So if those 2 groups get together and each has a certain amount of people, and that's the Congress, isn't that a third group?
No,
How is it not a third group?
no. You've got. Well, let's go. The House impeached Trump,
Yeah.
but the Senate didn't.
Okay.
So he wasn't technically impeached.
So
It's not that the Congress together impeached Trump. They didn't.
so this recent bill they passed for trillions of dollars, you're saying you're telling me
that was done.
that the
it was
House and the
probably
Senate voted
voted
together
no. The House voted, sent it up to the Senate, and then the Senate votes. And if they pass it, then it becomes law. Or the Senate could vote, send it back to the House, they can vote.
Right
and
now,
send it.
people are saying, he doesn't know that? Psst. No, I didn't know that. And I bet a lot of you
So
out there didn't know it either.
There's 3 divisions of government.
Well, it's what you
There's
hear.
the president, there's the Congress, and then there's the Supreme Court, all separate.
Oh,
But
yes, but it
but
makes it
would I
sound.
disagree? I don't think the president should be allowed to make executive orders.
But
I think
aren't
whatever
all
he
execs-
wants
wait a
to
minute,
sign
aren't-
should go back
Aren't
and let
all
that.
executive orders have to be passed by the House?
No.
So he can make up any friggin' law he
He
wants.
did. He got rid of all of Trump's executive orders. He canceled the Keystone Pipeline. He canceled
Yeah,
the
I know
border.
he did it. I know he did
That's
that.
that was an executive order. He's allowed to do it.
Well, I don't know. In some
So-
cases, that needs to be changed.
Well, I think a lot of it needs to be changed. I think a lot of what you're seeing also today is government was never meant to be this big.
No.
I think if the Republicans take over the House and the Senate, one, I think they should be cutting taxes. 2, cut any kind of payments they're giving, free payments to any kind of illegals. Cut welfare. Cut a lot.
You know,
Because
I agree
I
with that to
I
a
know.
point.
I
To a
am
point.
I am sick and tired of people getting free stuff on my dime. When they're sitting at home eating bonbons or sitting on their big duffs, I'm tired of it.
Okay, I think a lot of people are. I'm tired of it. But there's a lot of people that are in a position where they need that. What they got to do, Eric, in my opinion, is somebody's got to put a group of people together, almost like the FBI, but not the FBI, that their sole job is to find people who are abusing the systems.
Absolutely.
If you can clean up these systems of all this corruption, like now they're finding out with the money they gave away when everybody was out of work because of COVID, that there was a lot of abuse. Oh, we're finding
There's
a whole
always
bunch of lot of
abuse.
abuse. You just finding that out?
I
then
know.
you should not be working there.
That's right.
Okay, so
I have no
but if you clean that
objections.
up
Yeah,
and don't give it to the people who don't deserve it,
right.
like illegal aliens, then it would save a ton of money. But cutting taxes.
I
All
was
right,
going-
we could cut taxes, but you know what's going to happen when we cut taxes?
What?
We will never, ever, in any generation that comes into this world, into this country and world, are ever going to pay off our debts. They will never get paid off.
But
Because
if you
there isn't gonna
reduce, if you reduce taxes, and on the same thing reduce spending, we should have balanced budgets every year.
it should.
We should
Do you
not have
know-
to keep giving. Do what the Supreme Court did to abortion. Throw
you-
it back to the states. Get rid of the Department of
That's what-
Energy.
yeah.
Get rid of the Department of Education. Throw it back to the states. Let the states control this because we don't need it in Washington. All they do is balloon everything up and hire more people. Do we need 87,000 more IRS people? Absolutely not.
Do we need a $20,000, and I'm exaggerating, of course, toilet seat?
No. That's another thing.
You know what I mean?
You want to keep going? We can keep going.
If the people in Washington need a new faucet for a sink in one of the bathrooms, send one of the people that work for you as a mechanic. Send them to freaking Lowe's or Home Depot to buy a
Absolutely.
freaking sink.
Absolutely. Everybody knows that
But
all
they're
these
paying
senators
each
and
other
congressmen
off.
waste our money.
All right.
So, does anybody know about the races in the what is it the Bronx with AOC and then in Minnesota with Omar, and Massachusetts with Presley, and Wisconsin with Rashid? Are they in trouble at all? I hope they are.
You're not hearing any of it.
I hope they all are.
And you're not
because-
gonna, because when you have the media in your pocket, it seems to me most big tech places, the media and the Democratic Party are like one now.
Mm-hmm.
And they have control a lot on what people are hearing. Not everybody has cable. Some people don't have Fox News.
Oh, I know.
All they're hearing is the same crap from the same people, and that's all they hear, and they believe it. And it's not true. There's there's ways of finding out if things are true.
I know. Okay, let's switch it over.
But
By the way, for that first caller, elevate your leg, please. So.
Oh, before we do, I want to explain the hats.
The hats?
The hats. We got these hats. We were doing a show a couple weeks ago, and Eric walks in and gives me one of these hats.
Well, it was last week, actually.
No, it wasn't. 2 weeks
We've had it for 1 week.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, Michael Fred Hudson, who was a Republican, he loved his hats. We all loved our hats. We'd come on the show all wearing Trump hats, and people would like go out of their minds, some of them. But he bought these hats for us before he passed, or before he got sick, I should say. And we were they were given to us. Did we get these before he passed, or was it?
No. Marilyn gave it to us last week. She gave them to me before I got to the show, and because she wanted me to pick up these hats. So and this was so great. I think it was great of Michael. He's just a great person. So
and this is why we're wearing these hats,
right?
And because we also believe in the meaning behind it, which I don't want to say on TV because it can get vulgar. And I'd love to get vulgar, but
not on TV.
Can't, not here.
All right, let's go.
Though,
let's go local, okay?
Right.
Letters to the editor. Now, yesterday, letters to the editor. There were two that I'm going to start with Groton, and then we'll go over to Mark's in New London. Baumgartner, energetic, smart, and committed. And what I don't understand, Diana Urban, Chatham, New York, is a former member of the Connecticut House of Representatives representing the 43rd District from 2001-2019. Good for you. I want to let everybody know, and this is not going to affect, I guess it's not affecting New London anymore. Baumgartner did absolutely nothing for New London. So don't tell me he's energetic, smart, and committed.
Do they also
committed? Maybe. He's not. No, he did nothing. And he's a typical politician who needs to go get a regular job and know what it's like to work out in the world. Maybe he has done that. But you know what? When he came to my door the very, very first time, I don't know, how old was he? 19?
He wasn't old enough to vote.
So, so I wouldn't vote for Baumgartner. He was a Republican. He went over to Democrat.
Right.
You know what? No, I'm sorry. Let's get somebody who will work for us, not for themselves. And we have another call. Good evening. You're on.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Nancy Pelosi is running, actually. I just looked it up. She is running for another term. And, so it's just hard. I think the ultimate thing is if people look around, see the economy, see the mortgage rate, see what's going on, they have no choice but to vote Republican. And Warnock, or whatever his name is in Georgia, he has a real bad reputation. So
who's that? Her
Walker?
Who did you say in Georgia?
Walker, yeah. Yeah, what do you call it? Running against him. He's terrible. He has a horrible reputation. He should never have gotten in to begin with.
Is this the
we'll see. Herschel
this is the Republican?
Much loved there.
Who
you're talking about Herman Walker?
Yeah, Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker.
And Warnock. You talk about scandals. There's scandals on both sides.
You know what? I don't like either one who are running.
Herschel's good. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he probably will be fine because he has the beliefs that we have. He has, you know what? He has, what do they call it? Skeletons in the closet, just like everybody else. But Warnock is so far to the left.
You don't know if they're real.
Warnock is so far to the left. There's no way I would vote for him.
And another thing.
That's what they need to vote on.
And another thing,
wherever he is, he's a great candidate. We have a lot of good Republican candidates, and I hope they get elected.
Even if he's done half of what they claim he's done, how you got to look at that and say, how is that going to affect what he wants to do for his state?
Yeah, nothing.
It's not all good, but I don't know.
Nobody's perfect. I think he's
That's right.
a nice, kind person, and I think he will try hard to represent them. And
No, I agree with
Vote for
that.
the right
I
thing.
definitely, yeah, I do agree with that.
all right, have a good night.
All right, thank you
Thank
for
you.
calling.
Thank you for
Nancy,
calling.
I know you're excited about her running again. All right, see you later.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to New London.
Okay.
This was written by Peg Curtin, and I like Peg Curtin. I've always liked Peg Curtin. I don't agree with her.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to get my Peg Curtin look on. All right, go ahead.
All right. I don't agree with her policies or her politics, but she's a nice person. Marks understands the district's needs. I write in support of Martha Marks, candidate for state senate in the 20th district. As a visiting nurse, Martha has served throughout the district and knows and understands our needs. That happens to be true when it comes to nursing. Whether it is senior care, yes, or child care, and then they go, or jobs and education, she is supportive. We throw too much money into our education in New London because it's a waste. So often it is a waste, and I don't want, we should be concentrating on reading, writing, arithmetic, math, all over the place, science, anything that's involved with woke situations or CRT or anything like that, get rid of it. There is no place in education for that. As a member of the New London City Council, she voted to lower our taxes. I don't agree with that at all.
What lower taxes?
What taxes did Marks vote to lower?
Compared to the amount of money we got.
She has always said she would raise taxes because we need the money. She's always said she will bring her knowledge to Hartford and work closely with state reps Anthony Nolan and Christine Connolly to better our district. I'm sorry. There are just as many people on the other side who could do the same. And there is no way. She lost twice already to Paul
Three.
Formica.
Well, yeah, but she's lost 3 times.
3 times too, because she was not voted into the city council that second time. They didn't like her because she was going to raise taxes.
But then they turned away. Then they turned around.
And voted her to head the Democratic
Yeah.
Party in New London. Martha Marks is a good nurse. She cares about people who she takes in the VNA. But when it comes to New London and everything in New London, I wouldn't vote for her if she was the only person running.
Okay,
I wouldn't vote for her.
some of the things you just said. She takes real good care of veterans. That's what you said?
Patients.
Not veterans, patients.
I don't know
Okay.
who
Now,
the patients, the veterans.
Does she give the same? And this should have been one of our talking points.
There was. I wish
But
I
no.
kept that flyer that
Does
was
she
sent
give
us.
the same 100% to patients? Does she make a difference between Democrat and Republican?
No.
You don't think she does?
No, I think she's totally Democrat and far left.
Oh, no. When the patients that she's treating.
Oh, the patients?
Yes.
No, it's not political.
Well, a lot of things aren't political, but that doesn't mean nothing.
No, but
It's not political. It's not political to get Republicans or independents or Greens onto boards and agencies in our city. But it is if they're Democrat.
I
So
know,
if
but-
she can do that, what makes you think that she treats patients different?
well,
Not
I
different.
know that when I was working with the VNA, you're not allowed to talk politics. I was brought up on that so many times, but you know what? Lots of times they brought it up. And I know she does, because outside the patients' homes, she's got a lot of times she puts her banner or whatever you call those grass cards on there.
Okay, I want to talk about Martha for a few minutes.
You've got plenty of time.
I was at a council meeting and I got up and spoke. I was like one of the 2 people that were actually there. And before I got up, after I was speaking, I said, "Well, Martha, I hope you're doing well in your bid." I said, and I hope you win. And she kind of looked at me stunned. So I went and sat down. Plus, I got a bunch of crap later on for saying that. And the reason I said that was because I'd rather see her in Hartford than in New London. Because everybody thinks if they're in Hartford, they're doing all these great things for New London. I haven't seen that yet. And I've been here involved in politics for over 20 years. I'm not seeing it from anybody. So now I'm going to play politician. I'm changing my vote. And it's not going to go to her. For reasons as you've seen a lot of things that are going on with the seniors in New London, in the housing authorities, which the main part of it is people that don't even live in New London. She is the liaison to the Seniors Affairs Committee and seniors in general, which she has nothing to do. She hasn't talked about seniors in her platform at all, not doing anything for them at all. She'll vote to give money to every nonprofit that comes along and for every minority that comes along, but she won't vote to get another driver for the seniors. She should be all over what's wrong in these housing places for seniors, even though she can't really do much, but she could fight. But you don't hear her talking about that. All you hear her talking about, and this is what pisses me off a lot about these politicians, is she's talking about all the negative stuff of her opponent, like she doesn't have any, and then she tries to connect them to Trump. That's her whole platform?
That's what a lot of these Democrats do.
She should not only lose the race in Hartford, she should lose the race on the council, and they should kick her out of the committee to begin with, out of the Democratic committee. You can't trust her. She'll lie right to your face.
And she's done that to me, too.
Oh, she's done it to a lot of people. This is a woman. Okay, I'm going to give you a little scenario here. You have somebody on the council, and they're the liaison of a group. And they tell the people in that group, well, I think all you certain class of people need to be let go. You need to be fired. All right? This is the first time she was on the council. She gets in the council, and then she says on council at the meeting, well, I think all our boards and agencies should be 50% women and the rest minorities, and it's time to get rid of all these old white men that are on our committees in our agencies. Now, if I got on that council and I said, I think it's time we got rid of all these old black men that are on the committees and the boards and put all women in whatever, I'd be thrown out as a racist faster than you can shake a stick.
Right.
So, does that mean when you say it about old white men, that don't count? So, all you folks that have old white men in your family that want to join something and they can't because they're old and they're white, isn't that racist? And this is the woman you're going to put in Hartford. Sorry, Martha, you lost me, man. You lost me. Dude. All right, I'm done with that rant.
Okay. Going back, you were saying old white men, and if you look in California,
We're not California.
I know, but you have to bring this up
Okay.
because you've got two people in California who, I don't know if they're up for re-election, Dianne Feinstein.
She's going to be 90, by the way.
91.
Oh, 91?
And Chuck Grassley, I don't know if he's in California, or whatever. He's 89.
And Pelosi's 105.
Pelosi's in her 80s. Biden is going to be 80. Look at all these people. And I think every one of them should have to go through a psychological testing to make sure that they are, let's just call it with it, that they understand the functions of the job, just like they're doing to Fetterman, that he's not all there.
All right, before you go there, I want to say something about Fetterman before you go there. This is all a ploy.
Of
They
course
want
it's
to
a
get
ploy.
him elected, and then they're going to boot him and put a different Democrat in its place.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
That's what's
I
going
don't
to
know.
happen.
But I think there needs to be, this is why there needs to be term limits. And everybody's saying we need younger people in politics.
Well, you got some real bozos that are younger in politics.
Well, you do, and you've got the 4 I mentioned earlier. But I would like to see, I don't think Dianne Feinstein should be running or should be there. And this is going to say, oh, well, you're just being against older people. No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not. There's a time to say enough is enough. Strom Thurmond from South Carolina, what was he, 94? 96? I mean, come on, what is wrong with, don't you ever want to enjoy life afterwards? People have said it so many times. Why are you hanging around? It can't be for the money. They're all rich. It's power. And what have we always said about power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's what these people are. They are totally against the middle class and the lower income class. And that's where you and I come in.
I think, I got 2 more things I want to say real quick. One is, I think we need to somehow do this, I don't know how we're going to do it, but where when you come into office as a senator or a congressman or whatever you do, and it shows that you're getting $176,000 to be in that position, which I don't know why.
Yeah, they're on vacation half
Most
the
of the
time.
Okay, so if you come in with that kind of money and say you bring with you from your own thing, say $1 million, and then when you retire, however many years later, now you're worth $30 million. Mm-hmm. There should be an audit done right off the bat to see how you got from there to there. Mm-hmm. And if it turns out it's illegal, then you got to give money back. If it turns out that it's justified, then you get no more perks after you're done. You don't get a salary. You don't get...
Why? Yeah, and why should they get a salary?
Well, I'm just saying, because if they do it throughout the rest of the country with that aren't government, like, you get a pension. These people, when they're up in the millions, or if they've made more after a certain point, there is no need for them to have a pension. And that money can go to help somebody else.
Whatever you want to say about Trump, he didn't take his salary.
No. I don't think, I think Kennedy was another one that never took his salary.
I don't know. But I know Obama did. And Obama did nothing for this country or his people. And he's worth over $100 million. What does he need a pension from the United States for?
I don't have an answer. I want to talk about, real quick.
2 minutes.
About Mr. Anthony Nolan.
Okay.
Okay, now, I'm sure some of you's probably got this card in your mailbox. And this is a thing, you folks, you can't believe all the stuff that's on these things. You don't see any of them putting anything, well, I tried to do this, and I didn't get it done, and I'm sorry, I'll try harder next time. You don't see any of that stuff going on. Okay, so here it says on education, Mr. Nolan has made our schools more equitable and fought to get New London its fair share of state funding from Hartford. I'll ask, well, you remember that question, okay? That little part there. Okay, criminal justice. He says Anthony has helped keep kids out of the system by raising the juvenile arrest age by 2 years and enacting more diversionary programs. Keep the kids, juveniles, well, basically giving them another 2 years before they're not juveniles anymore so they can commit more crimes, probably. But did he vote to defund the police? I don't know. Doesn't say. Okay, affordable housing. Anthony has increased funding for low-income units, secure rapid rehousing programs for the unhoused, and close the gap between affordable and market-rate housing. How many apartments we got going on in New London? How many of them have rents, any number of rents that are under $1,000 or $1,200? How many people do you know that are homeless can afford that kind of money? And why do we still see so many homeless people on the streets of New London? Is that because Anthony just hasn't got to them yet? And here's the biggie. Record tax cuts. Anthony delivered more than $660 million in tax cuts for New London, the most in state history. He did alone? He just passed a vote. Now, if we've gotten $660 million, don't you think we'd be a little better off in Connecticut? So my point is, and I'm using up the time, I apologize, is don't believe all this crap when you get it in your mailbox. Because more than likely, a lot of it is just a bunch of bullshit, and all they actually done was say, oh, I vote yay. Never check to see if it's working. You never see them. The only time I see him is when something's going on in a minority situation to where he's shaking hands and he's doing all this other stuff, and that's the only time I see him. There's more colors to minority than you know, Mr. Nolan. And there's a lot of white people out there that are even worse off. And I don't see you shaking any hands with them.
Thank you for the calls. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming up to us and telling us you have liked our show.
We're going to stay here for all of this stuff.